going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Hum Baby Baseball channel. And today we're continuing our previews for 2021. This is Eric, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button for constant baseball talk right here. We are covering all 30 teams, and today it's the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that finished 98-64 as recently as 2015, but since then have slowly been creeping down the standings until hitting rock bottom in 2019, last place in 2020. But there might be a light at the end of this dark tunnel as the Pirates have hired a new GM, a new front office. They're trying to get this thing back on track. They're trying to trade some of their players and improve that minor league system and basically rebuild for the future. But this process is just beginning, might take some time. But the Pirates, you know, they have some good talent like Ke'Bryan Hayes and other guys we'll talk about. Probably not going to be ready quite to compete in 21, but we're going to look at this team anyway and see what they got. And you can see some new arrivals here. There are some interesting names. You got some Rule 5 guys here like Luis Oviedo. You have another one in Jose Soriano, and he was solid in the minor leagues. He had Tommy John, though, so he won't be quite ready yet. That gives the Pirates a little bit more roster flexibility. They signed Tyler Anderson, who was with the Giants last year, and he kept contact soft. He was pretty good for us. David Bednar is a very interesting acquisition they got from the Padres in the Musgrove deal. This is someone who lit up the minor leagues, and he hasn't really had a big major league sample. So this is someone in 4 minor league seasons. He had an ERA never over 3. He had an insane strikeout rate every year. He had a 13.3 strikeout ratio in 2019. Absolutely nuts. And he only pitched 17 big league innings. And even then he struck out 19 guys. Just 7 walks. Yes, his ERA was inflated at 6.75 because he gave up 4 home runs. But over a full sample, this is a big potential piece right here for that bullpen. He could be killer. And also some other nice waiver claims that they got here. And they picked up Michael Perez. They picked up Wil Crowe in the Josh Bell deal. And this is a guy could be a back end rotation guy. Good stuff. He's not going to blow anyone away, but he will usually be decent. And he's 26. He probably won't be a big part of the Pirates' future. Could be, but if he pitches well enough in 21, he could also get shipped off for more younger prospects. So you have some solid moves there, and then you have some really interesting minor league deals here. Look at this here with, yes, the Toddfather. Todd Frazier was signed, former All-Star, former guy who could hit over 30 home runs, and he had to settle for a minor league deal. But, you know, he might still have something left in the tank for this Pirates team, and it could be cool to have him on board for the fans and things like that. A lot of good moves there in the offseason. I'd say it was a pretty good offseason, but we got to look at the regulars. You know, all their best players are in the minors. That's the way it should be, but we got to look at what they have to offer in 21. And the lineup, not too terrible. I mean, Adam Frazier at the top, solid defender, and he makes contact. He only struck out 35 times in 230 plate appearances. Over a full season, he's going to hit you 275. He's going to hit 10 home runs or more. Ke'Bryan Hayes, whoa. What was that? He burst onto the scene in 2020, had a 376 average, 442 on base, 682 slugging, 5 home runs in just 24 games. He looks like a potential superstar in the making. And by the way, he's 4 for 8 in spring training with 2 doubles and a triple. Colin Moran also showed some big pop last season, 10 home runs in just 178 at-bats. And the Pirates hope that this is some newfound power here and that he can duplicate that over a full season and that it wasn't just some freak 2020 thing. Phillip Evans also going to get some time there at first base. Even though he only played 1 game there, reportedly he's going to platoon at first. And he earned that by tearing it up in 2020. He went 14 for 39 with a home run. Todd Frazier, I mentioned, could also get some time there at first base, maybe a little third. That's where Ke'Bryan Hayes is, but he could give him some days off from time to time. Or whatever, we can see. Todd Frazier, I mean, it's a beast.
It's Todd Frazier, man. It's Toddfather.
Bryan Reynolds is, you know, someone I'm familiar with, former Giants prospect, and he's a great player. I mean, he's great in the minors. He had a great rookie year. I think that despite a tough 2020, he's going to bounce back big in 21, especially if you look at his batting average on balls in play, a little advanced stat to kind of give you an idea of luck, you know, and he had a terrible average of balls in play in 2020. So I think he's looking for a bounce back year. I wish I could say the same for Polanco, but he's been a concern for a while. He strikes out more every year. Just don't think he's going to get back to that, you know, player that he was around 14 and 15. His trade value isn't there. I think probably he'll just be a free agent after this extension is over. Pirates will not pick up his options unless he just goes crazy this year, in which case he might get traded anyway, assuming that there's no trade clauses. I'm not sure on that, but Bottom line is he hasn't been great for a while, and so not good there. Center field, I think a little bit of a competition. Anthony Alford is a guy who can fly. He only has a 169 career average. That's not going to work. He's going to have to show something. He does have raw power. He was a top prospect with the Jays. He's got to show something. They also got first-round pick Cole Tucker, trying to prove he's not a bust, trying to prove he can do something, but so far, he has speed. He used to steal bases like it was nothing in the minors, but so far just one stolen base with the Pirates. It could be, not his fault. Maybe he just not get the steal sign, not allowed to go on his own. But as far as at the plate, 215 average, 3 home runs, and 256 at-bats. Absolutely nothing. That is just not good. So, they're going to have to figure something out for center field. Behind the plate, Jacob Stallings. This is a great defensive catcher, great pitch framer. He knows how to deal with the staff, and that's where his main value lies. At the plate, he's decent. He's patient. He can work a walk, but otherwise he's average. He's not going to hit a bunch of home runs or anything. But defensively, to be able to frame pitches and work with pitchers is extremely important. So you have that. Kevin Newman, he's going to give you a high contact rate. He is pretty good. He can play some other infield positions as well. Eric Gonzalez, another guy here who's going to get plenty of starts at shortstop. He had a 44% hard hit rate in 2020, which might be surprising because he had only 227 average. I think he hit too many ground balls. With a little work on his launch angle, who knows? And he's going to give you Gold Glove potential in the field. So you got that. I mean, this lineup, I think it has a little more to offer than you might expect from a Pittsburgh Pirates lineup in 2021. It lacks, big power, unless a couple of those guys, who were good in 2020 can sustain that over the full 2021 season, possible. But, your outfield is, it's rough, with Polanco, Alford, Tucker, one of those guys having got to do something. You got to find something there, and Reynolds needs to bounce back, which I expect. But, you got a little lack of two-way players. You got some good defenders who don't hit too well, vice versa. You got things like that, but they're rebuilding. Pirates are rebuilding. And considering that this lineup, I think it's okay. I think they'll score some runs. So overall, I'm going to give it a C-. I'm not going to go D or an F with this lineup, but definitely the better lineups for the Pirates are in the future. So C-. The rotation was going to be rough before they traded their top 2 starters. Okay, so the rotation was rough already, and then, they made necessary trades, the correct thing to do, I think, but still, for this season, it's going to make for a rough rotation, in my opinion. Now, you're just going to figure it out in spring training. There's all kinds of names here, as you can see. Mitch Keller's pretty much guaranteed to be in there. He was their number 1 prospect, but he couldn't find his command. He walked 18, and he struck out 16. He kept the ERA under 3 somehow, but I think that was just luck over a longer sample. It's not happening with that kind of control issues. He's got to figure out his control, and he's just got to hit his spots. That's pretty much it. He's got the stuff. He's just got to hit his spots, and he could be better. He should be better, but we'll see. Chad Kuhl is reportedly back to 100% after his Tommy John. Should be okay for the Bucks, but, even at his best, he's going to ERA, around 4.5, maybe a little better, but, he's not going to be anything spectacular. Tyler Anderson, like I said, was nice for the Giants. He's going to have his good starts and his bad starts, but he'll have an ERA over 4 probably. But I think that, from what I saw last year, he's going to give you some good solid outings, but he's nothing, again, nothing spectacular. Unfortunately, that's what this rotation is going to lack in 2021. JT Brubaker is someone to look at. He had some nasty stuff, filthy last season, but he might be more of a solid bullpen arm typically, good long relief option, but based on the rotation problems, there's a good chance he will be a starter for the Pirates, even though typically you probably want that arm in the bullpen. But no, he looked good in 2020, a solid sinker, good stuff like I said. So JT Brubaker potentially could be a nice arm there. And like I said, Wil Crowe, good shot to make the back end of the rotation to at least get some kind of immediate value from the Josh Bell deal. But other than that, some younger options going to get an opportunity there. You can see the names. The reality is, though, this rotation is likely to get roughed up quite often unless, 2 or 3 of those youngsters have stunning breakout years, which seems kind of unlikely. Most of the real talent is going to be, in the minors, not quite major league ready yet. So the rotation took a big hit because of those trades, even though the trades were necessary and, needed for rebuilding. But this rotation, I'm going to give it a D- only because a couple of those arms I do like. But overall, it's going to be a rough season for the Pirates, I think, from that rotation. So D- for the rotation. And the bullpen, kind of same story. They're going to construct it through spring training competition as far as, the back 4 or 5 guys. But as far as the top guys, you got, Richard Rodriguez, one of MLB's best relievers last year, 34 strikeouts in 23 innings, elite spin rate, good hard fastball, and his slider is also nasty. Chris Stratton and Kyle Crick, 2 guys I'm familiar with as a Giants fan, and they become very solid bullpen arms as well for the Pirates. Michael Felice was awesome with the Astros back in the day, until he had some injury problems. If he's healthy, could be really good. And David Bednar, as I mentioned earlier, super high ceiling. And there are other guys here. There are other flamethrowers here that are young guys who haven't had a big league experience yet. But hey, who knows what they can do if they get the chance. There are a lot of good, solid options here in this pen. And Nick Mears, Blake Cederland, both can throw hard. So we'll see what this Pirates team can do. If some of these younger arms end up being legit, could be a strength for this team. But until they prove themselves, I can't really give it a super high grade. Although with Richard Rodriguez, Chris Stratton, Kyle Crick, it's not terrible. I'm going to give it a C- for now. Could be better than that. We'll have to wait and see. And that's going to do it for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who unfortunately, despite an okay lineup, potentially an okay bullpen, likely they're going to struggle to win games because of that rotation, I think. Now, overall, I'm giving them a D+ for the current roster. But this team, they seem to be on the right track as far as rebuilding with the new GM and everything. Hopefully, they will not rush the rebuild. Hopefully they won't go on a 5-game winning streak in July and be like, we're doing this, and trade away their best prospects. And, what are you doing? No, this takes time. It's not time to do that in 21, I don't think. So we'll see what happens with the Pirates. And, D+ overall. But if you're a Pirates fan, I think there's, something to look forward to. I'd be really watching your young prospects. I'd be going to minor league games if they're local to you and following these young kids because you've got some good talent now with these trades. More trades will be happening, and we'll see. But overall, D+ for this team. Good luck in 2021 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is possible that you don't finish in the cellar. That would be actually, I think, an accomplishment this year if you can, have a good enough season not to finish in last place and show that you're trending upward. But other than that, really the future is not 21. The future is going to be 22, 23, 24. Look for the Pirates to start to compete around then, I hope. But that's my Pittsburgh Pirates preview for 2021. I was so happy to be able to talk about this team. I don't talk about them enough. They have a lot of good young names and a lot of good MLB names like Ke'Bryan Hayes. Guy's a beast, so I can't wait to watch him in 2021 and see what he can do over a full season. Hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button, and we will talk to you next time. See ya!
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.